Hello again, everybody. Hiya there. Hope you're doing all right. Welcome to the second lesson about fantastic Mr. Fox. Now, we'll remember in chapter 1, we were introduced to the three farmers. Do you remember their names? Bogus, Farmer Bunce, and Farmer Bean. And did you remember there was something about those names? Bogus, Bunce, and Bean. That's right. They all started with the letter B, which is also known as alliteration. So today we're going to move on to chapter 2. We're going to find out a little bit more about Mr. Fox, and I've got a task for you at the end as well. So here we go. Hope you're sitting comfortably. Ready. Remember, you can pause this whenever you like. You can read along with me too. On a hill above the valley there was a wood. In the wood there was a huge tree. Under the tree there was a hole. In the hole lived Mr. Fox and Mrs. Fox and their 4 small foxes. Big family. Every evening, as soon as it got dark, Mr. Fox would say to Mrs. Fox, "Well, my darling, what shall it be this time? A plump chicken from Bogus, a duck or a goose from Bunce, or a nice turkey from Bean?" And when Mrs. Fox had told him what she wanted, Mr. Fox would creep down into the valley in the darkness of the night and help himself. Bogus and Bunce and Bean knew very well what was going on. It made them wild with rage. They were not men who liked to give anything away. Less still did they like anything to be stolen from them. So every night, each of them would take his shotgun and hide in a dark place somewhere on his own farm, hoping to catch the robber. But Mr. Fox was too clever for them. He always approached the farm with the wind blowing in his face, and this meant that if any man lurking in the shadows ahead, the wind would carry the smell of that man to Mr. Fox's nose from far away. Thus, if Mr. Bogus was hiding behind his chicken house number 1, Mr. Fox would smell him out from 50 yards off and quickly change direction, heading for chicken house number 4 at the other end of the farm. "Dang and blast that lousy beast!" cried Bogus. "I'd like to rip his guts out," said Bunce. "He must be killed," cried Bean. "But how?" said Bogus. "How on earth can we catch the blighter?" Bean picked his nose delicately with a long finger. "I have a plan," he said. "You've never had a decent plan yet," said Bunce. "Shut up and listen," said Bean. "Tomorrow night we will all hide just outside the hole where the fox lives. We will wait there until he comes out. Then... bang, 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 bang." "Very clever," said Bunce. "But first we shall have to find the hole." "My dear Bunce, I've already found it," said the crafty Bean. "It's up on the hill. It's under a huge tree." Hope my accents didn't scare you too much there. I've got some questions for you right away. Question number 1. Where does Mr. Fox live? Where does Mr. Fox live? Now you can find the answer to that on page 1. If you want, you can rewind the video, pause it, try and find where does he live. I've got a second question for you. How did the farmers feel about Mr. Fox stealing from their farms? Did it make them feel happy? Again, you can find the answer for that back on page 1. So you can rewind. And which of the farmers had found where Mr. Fox lived? You can find the answer to that question on page 3. So again, you can just rewind the video, look for that. Now we know that if you've done that, Mr. Fox lives in a hole under a tree, a very, very huge tree on a hill. The farmers, it made them wild with rage, is what Roald Dahl writes. It made them wild with rage about Mr. Fox stealing from their farms. And the farmers, who was it who had found where Mr. Fox lived? It was Bean, wasn't it? Bean. So, what we're going to do today is, I've given those as a wee example because you are going to create questions. Here we go. Our learning intention, create questions. And the task is to create a range of questions about chapter 2 using a variety of question starters. That word variety sometimes is a wee bit difficult to understand. Variety means lots of different types. So for example, at Christmas, you might have got a variety pack of like miniature heroes or celebrations, and it's not just all Mars bars, is it? It's definitely not all bounties, because nobody likes the bounties. It's like you get the bounty, the fudge, the Malteser one, the galaxy. They got rid of the galaxy truffle. Anyway, a whole selection. So for this, what do you have to do? Well, we can look at our success criteria for this. You need to use a range of question starters. Don't want you to write 5 questions that all start with what. What was Mr. Fox's name? What was Farmer Bean's name? What did the... We want you to have a variety, and up above me, you can see there's different question starters. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. So we've got 6 ones there, but there's more than that. You could have should, could, did, all these questions too. So I want you to create questions using a range of those question starters. Look back at our success criteria. You have to remember to use a question mark. There's examples on the slide just below, so you can rewind back again. Question mark goes at the end. It's kind of like a round top, comes down, and then a little dot. It's like, you know what, I always think of it as like a curvy exclamation mark. We're pretty good with our exclamation marks. A question mark curves round, has a little dot at the bottom, and lets people know that it's a question you're asking. And then the final piece of success criteria really is to reference the page on what you found, where you would find the answer. So again, if you rewind, you can see I put in brackets page 1, page 3 after mine. It just helps the person find where that information is. So when you're writing your questions, and you can rewind obviously on this video, pause the page, put in the page number. Once you've done that, I would love it, if possible, and this is only if possible, to post 1 or 2 of your questions on our Teams page, and you can challenge me. I'll try and find the answer. And you can challenge the rest of the class if they can see them there. So, I think 5 questions is good. If you're able to create 5 questions about those 3 pages, that would be excellent. If you want to create more, fire away, go for it. Use a range of starters, use the question mark, and if you can, reference the page as well. Page 1, page 2, page 3. Good luck. Hope that's all clear. Have a good one.